just finally, on day 2, which is actually day 8 or 9 of our supposed investigation, have pulled the corpse down from the tree where it has been dangling. And it is autopsy time. Strap in, Lieutenant Kim. Let me do a quick audio check before I strap in Lieutenant Kim. Make sure this is working. Lieutenant Kim, say something so that I know. It's sort of important.
Yes?
It's deathly quiet out here in the backyard. Tell me about the case again, Kim Kitsura.
What do you want to know?
I do not seem to be hearing it on my side. But maybe that's a me problem. Actually, I have all I need for now.
Good.
It could be just my laptop that's messing up. But let me reset the audio just in case. I'll be right back with you. So sorry. I tested it elsewhere, and it is just my laptop that was messing up. I fixed it now. Hey. Alright. As I was mentioning, which I'm sure you heard, but I didn't. It's autopsy time. Thank you, Kim. I'm sorry to use you as a guinea pig for my technical difficulties. You're very sweet for putting up with that. Alright. So we had the Union Man sent over at what is likely to be great personal cost to me later to take the corpse down from the tree, which has devastated young Kuno. He looks like he will never forgive me for removing his practice target. Let's check in with him first. You okay, buddy?
You missed a good show before. A kid came by and completely fucked the tree to pieces.
Sounds like a hell of a show. The sort of thing you typically have to pay for.
He fucked the tree up! Fucked it good! It was porno!
Alright, so I can, oh my, these dialogue options. I could scold the children for being, loose with their use of language in a manner most inappropriate, or I could myself be loose with my use of language in a manner even more inappropriate. Not in approval. Nope. Nope. Wish I could have been here to see it. Now, I have some questions. I don't even really have some questions. You just looked sad, but I see now that you're not sad. This was a ruse to get the best of me. Let's check what questions I might have.
Shoot that shit at Kuno, Pigonort.
So I talked to Manana about the armor. It's probably worthwhile. Worth going down this path. Though he's just gonna do another power move on me. We all know what happened last time. But anyway, Manana seemed to think that you were setting him up by what you said.
So?
Got experience for it. Well worth it. He raises his eyebrows, projecting aggressive indifference. He told me you promised to sick me on him. He said to thank you. Wasn't too keen on chasing down that armor anyway. He said you're now the king of the entire Jamrock? Question mark? What would Kuno appreciate? It does feel as though me coming back with my hat in hand to provide him kindness would throw him off his rhythm. Maybe that's what we need. So yeah, he said to thank you.
Fuck, okay. Kuno's a giver like that, yes?
Ah, and just like that, there goes your rhythm, young Kuno. The upper hand is mine.
Kuno sent your fat ass running around like jello.
Thank you for noticing.
Look, pig. Kuno sent you to rough some people up. Kuno played you. That happened. Now you and Kuno should move on.
Yeah, and I came back to thank you for it. Weird world, isn't it? I will remember this, Kuno. I will telltale games this till my dying day. There's no real reason to threaten him, but this just seems dismissive. Whatever. I will remember this, Kuno.
You got fucked. You got fucked, pig. Fucked bad. Of course you're gonna remember this. Now get the fuck out of here, griefing the Kuno.
Is that what I'm doing? Lieutenant Kim, take note. Grief to the Kuno. Strike it off my to-do list.
After this shit, you better have something real interesting to say if you want to stay in Kuno's face.
Yeah, real interesting.
Oh, I don't necessarily. I found your shack. Oh, is that... The shack, which led us to the rooftop, with the shortcut to the harbor, and my jacket, my shacket, if you will, belongs to Kuno. I'm not sure what gave me that impression, other than the giant decapitated pig head, which really does have Kuno written all over it. Let's see what he says.
You found Kuno's secret door to Kuno's secret shack. It was closed for 5,000 years. How the fuck did you get in?
Well, I just tore away at the simple plywood. I phase shifted through the roofing material. Ooh, yeah. I like that. Before we go on with that, let's talk about how you said it was just some roofing material left behind. That was a lie. I don't think Kuno really cares. If we're going to rub his lies in his face, I think he's proud of it. I pushed the panels aside. I kind of want to say I phase shifted. That'll be fun for the kids. I phase shifted.
Shit. Get the fuck out of here. You can't do that.
I can too. I'll prove it.
He can't do that, Kuno. He's trying to fuck at you again.
Pigs can't displace. Can't do that teleport shit. How did you like it in there, pig old boy? Kuno's got a lot of cool shit there, right?
What was with the pig head? You know what? Never mind. I don't want to know. I found a plate covered with powder residue. Amphetamines. Do you know anything about it? What is with the tube of magnesolum, Kuno? Or I've heard about enough of this. I don't necessarily know if I want to get him, publicly speaking about his drug use. It could lead to some dark territory, but I mean, we're already here. Let's start with the pig head.
Oh, that? Kuno decapitates pigs. That's just a Kuno demo tape.
Like, some kind of a musician. It was a cool pig head. I liked it. I got one, too. This one. My pig head. Forget it. I'm not saying those things. I wish this was always a dialogue option. That would help me out a lot. Alright. No need to accuse him of sending me a message. Let's make it weird. Are you a musician?
Yeah, Kuno plays on snuff radio, fucks pigs, live, fucks their heads off. Kuno's a cop killer.
You know, I believe it. So about your amphetamines, Kuno.
That's where Kuno gets his daily hit of electric. Kuno Shazam. Kuno rides the fucking lightning in there, pig.
Bet you'd like to ride the lightning too, wouldn't you?
Pipe down,
You feel
electrochemistry.
tired and old, but you could have that sparkle in your eyes.
The tube, Kuno. Please explain.
It's a vitamin, pig. Don't you know anything?
He looks at you like you just pointed at the sun and asked what it was. While we're here, Kuno, that big thing up in the sky, what is it? I don't remember.
You could use some.
It's magnesium, right?
Yeah, it's the mag. You fucking need that shit to stay on top of your game. Kuno goes through like a tube a day, rips mag like a motherfucker, and you could use a battle.
Oh, don't teach him, Kuno. He's gonna use it against you, Kuno.
Oh, come on. It's just magnesium. Don't mystify it. That seems like something a square would say. I know all about that magnesium, baby. Alright, I'll be a square. That's fine.
You're not getting this, Pig. It completely takes away the hangover. It's like you didn't do anything. Like you stayed home playing with your choo-choo.
He looks at you, his eyes bulging. He desperately wants to play with his choo-choo. Wait, is that a euphemism? I meant like an actual train. If we're talking euphemisms, I probably shouldn't say that about the child.
Fuck you, Pig. Don't do mag. You're gonna OD and you're gonna fucking die.
We can only hope. I've heard enough of this.
Good call, Pigmeister. Don't come and talk to Kuno about his kingdom.
Alright. I still have very low chances of empathetically figuring out how to steer this young boy towards the light.
Kuno doesn't...
Nor am I
fucking-
sure he deserves it. Anyway, back to the corpse. Thanks, Kuno. Just wanted to make sure you weren't sad. Lieutenant Kim, spread his legs for me. I have some investigation to do. Not Kuno, the corpse. The corpse.
The corpse lies on the ground among the remains of an absolutely demolished pinewood branch. It's gently laid on one side.
Beautiful. Well, it's down. Celebrate in a more reserved manner. That sounds like me.
Mr. Measurehead has done a good job. Nothing is too broken or compromised. The victim is ready for a field autopsy.
Let's do it. Fetch me the rib spreaders.
Yes. 1. Investigation of the scene. 2. Initial examination of the victim. 3. Field autopsy. 4. Transportation of the body to the morgue. We are on number 3.
You'd better wipe off your leather seats, 'cause we're headed for number 4 faster than you know it. Get your motor carriage ready.
The RCM's 4-phase murder scene processing manual.
Hello, hello. So nice to see you guys. Good evening. And yes, in the middle of the week. What a treat it is. It is so nice to see you. Alright, phase 3.
The fuck are they on about?
Not right now, Kuno. Go back to your... I don't know what you're doing. Mud pies?
Cop's gonna cut his shit up.
Don't we have someone else for this? Like a trained medical professional, perhaps? Okay, no, I got it.
The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
So, since I remember nothing, what exactly is a field autopsy?
Come on, officer. You know what a field autopsy is. You've done 100 of them.
That's true. Perhaps as many as 130. But just say, for the sake of argument, that I have very potent amnesia.
What you do know is, at 18.9 kilometers, the dormant shield volcano, Corpus Muindi, is the world's highest summit, and the failure of the 38 single, Epui Descent, to crack the top 20 was the death knell of disco. But what a field autopsy is, you have no idea.
I remember so much about disco and volcanoes, you know, sexy stuff, but not so much the field autopsy. Why don't you know? What use are you? Don't you speak that way to Kim. Clap your gloved hands. Let's get in there. I mean, I should probably know a little something before I get in there, but no, I'm ready. Clap them hands.
There truly is a time for everything, even for yellow gardening gloves. However, they are lacking hygienically. I suggest you get in there in limited capacity.
Oh, you're right about that. I don't suppose you have a spare pair of sanitized field autopsy gloves for me. All right. I accept.
I'll ask you when I need you to. For the most part, maybe I should handle the contact and you take notes?
We just fill this in, right? Show him the red field autopsy form in your ledger.
That's right.
He nods. It's gorgeous.
You knew it because you inspected your ledger. The lieutenant is relieved you know the protocol.
Ah, if I had not inspected my ledger, we'd be in a much different situation. And the lieutenant would not be so relieved. Though I'm not sure if he should be relieving himself on the corpse. Why in pluperfect hell? Alright, open your ledger at the field autopsy form. At the field autopsy form. Have it the field autopsy form. Try to remove the dead man's boots. Let's wait on that step. Open the ledger.
The dead man stares in silence as you crack open the ledger. The bright red paper is covered in boxes and lists, describing the condition of his skin and organs in 3 parts.
Hello. Fully gloved hands or gloves that have no fingers after the first digit for when you need to dial on your iPhone. I hope that I can cut some of these fingers off for when I need to dial. That would help me. P.S. Somebody's currently surrounded in gorgeous little stuffed animals. I wonder who I can blame for this. Continue.
Above those, an 11-field info form needs filling out first. It begins with,
You always call fingerless gloves nose pickers. I like that. Gets right to the point. Right to the gold of the matter, if you will. Alright, begin. Number 1, assistant.
That's you.
Write the initials H.D.B. 'Tis I, Harry Dubois.
the corpse is indifferent to your scribblings, just lies there. The next box says,
Number 2. Kim, I'm gonna need you to fill this one in. I can't see the state of his number 2 from here. Oh, I mean number 2, coroner's case number.
KK57-0803.0815.
Thank you, Kim.
KK equals Kim Kitsuragi. 57 equals Precinct 57, followed by his date, 0803, and time of arrival, 0815, on the scene. He's indexed the case after himself, not you.
That's fine. I don't mind being the assistant here.
That's because he doesn't want to bring up the messy question of your initials.
That's probably fair. Shouldn't we file the coroner's case under me? I mean, technically, I arrived at the scene before you. No, I'm not here to play games with the lieutenant. Write it down.
Next.
Number 3, name.
NA. Next.
Not available. I see. Date of birth.
NA.
Sure. His age. Look deeply at the laugh lines on his back.
Roughly 50.
Roughly 50?
Try 40. The damage is so extensive, it's better to err on the young side.
I mean, this is Kim's file. I'll follow his example, but my sense of visual calculus is trustworthy. I'm going with Kim on this one. 50.
The corpse looks ageless, like meat on a hook.
Delicious. His race, do you suppose?
Mondial.
Gotcha.
Fair to olive-skinned, from the Isola of Mwindi. This is as vague as it gets. You might as well say whitish.
White-ish. Next.
The pudgy mess of curdled meat looks neither mondial nor anything other.
Sex? Yes, please. It's no time for jokes, Kim. We have a job to do here.
Fucky, fucky!
Stay out of this.
Male.
Gotcha.
Pigs can have sex.
Wouldn't you like to know? Right, pig's gonna have sex. Right, male.
Nor does he look male, with his pregnant belly and indistinguishable face.
The date of death.
We're still going with March 4th. 51.
Gotcha.
What else? 9. Body identified by is non-applicable. 10. Case number is the same as the coroner's case.
Cause of death? Dying? I like it. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the random gifting. The gifting spree. stopping by for a quick hey. Off to see the Christmas light drive-through thing. Thank you so much for stopping by. It was lovely to see you, and I hope it's equally lovely to see the Christmas light drive-through thing. May you go in peace, and may your drive be merry and bright. Merry and bright. See you soonish. Alright, 910, gotcha.
KK57 0503 0815 listens motionless, with the cargo belt still around his neck. Only one box remains.
Number 11, evidence of treatment.
None. At least not after the initial examination.
What is treatment anyway? For my edification.
Interfering with the body's position or wounds post-mortem.
Well, we ripped him down from the tree. We tried to shoot the strap he was hanging from. Little Kuno over there's been chucking rocks at his spleen for about 7 days. Should I write any of that down?
How did you not know that? Aren't you a cop? You're leaving a weak impression here. Say something sure-handed.
I don't really care about your opinion, Authority. Agreed. No treatment. I'm not so sure. What about the 7 days of spleen pummeling? Also a really good film. Look it up. I'm not so sure. But I don't want to interfere with Kim's investigation. This seems... And I hate to accuse you of this, Kim. This seems slightly lazy in our reporting. If we don't acknowledge the fact that his armor's been stripped off of him, he's been pummeled within an inch of his life, and dropped from a great height. I'm not so sure.
A silent nod. The lieutenant places his gloved hand on the corpse's chest, as if in preparation.
Sounds like a line from 12 Days of Christmas. 7 days of spleen pummeling. What are you doing to his chest there, Lieutenant?
We should start the post-mortem.
All right. Turn the page.
The corpse cannot feel Kim's hand on his chest. It no longer meaningfully interacts with its surroundings. A thicket of boxes and lists on red copier paper tries to answer why.
Oh, my word. Are you guys chewing your way towards a hype? You've done it! You've stocked the coal furnace. We have gone beyond 88 miles per hour. And it's time for a choo-choo! It's incredibly kind of you. Look at all those gifts. Thank you for your generosity. A level 3 hype train is en route. Like a Machiavellian old villain, I'm going to strap someone to the tracks before the level 3 hype train arrives. Any volunteers? Any volunteers to be strapped? Oh, okay, I'll do it. Strap me down. Oh my gosh. You just won't stop gifting. Just to get more choo-choos, or choo-choos. Delicious. That is so kind of you. Wow, when I heard that chewing pantomime back, it sounded a lot like I was smooching at you. Which I guess is fair. Love you guys. External examination. Internal examination. Woo! Buy him dinner first. A description of injuries. Tell me something, dead man. We start with the external examination. Number 1. Engage.
Clothes. The deceased wears armored boots and white briefs. The make of the briefs is Babrodine, I think. Let's see.
He turns the body onto its side to check the underwear label. Lucky Lieutenant.
See, it's happening.
No, it's not happening. Stare at this, Kuno.
Babrodine, yes. Inexpensive. Size M. Color white.
Are we sure about that? We sure the color can still be classified as white at this point?
The disappointment is palpable. The red-haired thing was expecting something more lurid.
The description of injuries, they look ouchy, like they hurt. It's very important. Write it down.
The rest of the clothes have been removed post-mortem by scavengers in order to get to the victim's ceramic armor. Officers are in search of the missing pieces. Removal of the boots is left for processing.
I mean, we could leave the removal of the boots for processing, but don't you feel like sometimes, after a hard day's detecting work, Lieutenant Kim, that you deserve a new pair of boots? I just feel like who's the victim here if we give you those boots?
It would be clever of you to omit the boots altogether, sire. If you are to keep them for yourself, as you ought to, you have deserved them more than anyone else.
Sense of drama would like me to keep the boots. What I'm curious of is if we leave the boots for processing, does that remove them from our, we have an active task to find all the pieces of armor? Does sending them to processing find the boots, or will that ruin us in the future? I don't necessarily want to sneak back after hours when Kim is gone and rob the corpse of the boots. But I will. I mean, that's not above me. I will do that. When am I going to get them? I don't know what to do here, because the completionist in me is like, complete the task, collect all the armor. But there's very little chance I'm going to find any of the rest of the armor anyway, so I might as well just send the boots for processing and hope that they're still included in the overall task. Write it down.
The boot has a serial number.
Playing
It's
by the
E50
rules over here.
Dot 100 dot 100. The lines between the plates are in the shape of the alphanumerical. The number is purposefully concealed by the design.
All right.
Tattoos.
He stands up, his feet planted on either side of the body. Cue an inappropriate comment from the kids.
The upper torso is covered in a single, continuous tattoo, resembling a map of the night sky. It reaches from the right shoulder to the heart. The ink is blue and white. The assistant has a color photograph of the markings, to be added to the case files as document A1. The photo is taken on the scene, using a Trigat Mini.
And a gorgeous one at that. You're welcome to whip out your Mini any time, Lieutenant Kim.
The deceased has a belt for airlifting cargo around his neck, tied with a hangman's knot. Color, yellow. Length, 3 meters. There is a buckle on the other end.
3 meters in length? That's not such a Mini. Write it down.
Well-nourished, athletically built, measuring 1.8 meters. Generally consistent with age, about 50. Preservation is good. Ambient temperature, below freezing. Body hair is light brown. Distribution is consistent with age. The deceased had male pattern baldness. Hair is combed back, short.
Touch the corpse's hair in a loving, delicate manner before moving on. I'm just gonna write it down, I think. Thank you. Thank you for the option. Write it down.
Lividity is consistent with hanging. The head is congested. Contusions are present on the head, chest, and thighs. Consistent with stones thrown post-mortem. Low velocity.
Oh, good. We are mentioning the post-mortem stone throwing, at least. All-time record shattered! What have you done? What have you chewed? What have you choosed to do today to my all-time record? That is insanely generous of you guys. Props to Corvid for breaking the record, indeed. Though somebody seems to have assisted in this. We won't mention it. Magia! I'm so grateful for you guys. Although I also blame Magia, yes. I knew it was coming. My favorite.
Fucking low velocity? You think Kuno doesn't know what you're talking about? Velocity was fucking max.
Nope, it's too late. In the official report, it seems that you throw like a tiny toddler. So, get over it, Kuno.
Talking shit about Kuno's velocity.
In addition, there are bite marks on the face, scalp, and chest, consistent with predation.
Consistent with predation? I can't believe he was eating dates before death. Pretty sure that's what that means. Write down but amend for high velocity to soothe Kuno's ego. I'm not in the business of such things. We write down the facts here.
Ligature mark.
The lieutenant produces a small folding knife. You're suddenly a little bit intimidated and yet aroused. With the other hand pulling on the belt, he starts cutting into the polyester. The stench is horrid. After a while, it's obvious the material cannot be cut, but it can be stenched.
The steel wiring. There's too much of it. We need to remove the belt so we can get to the ligature mark.
Okay. Hold my flashlight. I'll start unknotting his bulbous, bloated neck with my dirty glove fingers.
You got just the right tool for that. The chain cutters.
Oh, yeah. I've got chain cutters. Pet the chain cutters. Why? Why are we petting them? I kind of want to, because what if the chain cutters have had a really hard day and need to be soothed? And it might soothe me too, if I'm being selfish. Pull them out. Pull out my mini.
Always good to think ahead. Now,
He points to the rope, squeezing the dead man's neck.
we need to cut the belt to see the ligature mark below. Carefully, with as much precision as you can.
It sounds like it's probably going to be a skill check that I have little chance of passing.
See, my pig is gonna fuck his head off.
No, he ain't. Your pig's a boring fuck.
It's true. Most detective work is. Look for a good spot to cut. Cut the belt off with a 28% chance that cannot be retried, and nor can I exit the dialogue to give it a quick save. This is gonna get messy. Look for a good spot to cut.
The belt is equally tight around the whole circumference of his neck, swelling over the edges like white bread rising from the east.
What a vivid and fantastic mental picture you've painted for me. 28%. I am definitely going to cause some arterial spray. I'm sad. Well, here we go.
You jam the cutters right under the knot. That seems like a smart idea. Yeah, somewhere there. Already they're buried deep in the man's flesh. Then you rotate them to get a better hold. Then
You curse explosively. Maybe rotate it some more? Can we get an even better hold? Is that possible? I might have the best hold I can get now, and this will only cause more arterial spray. We'll see.
a really, really bad smell is coming from there now. And some kind of cracking sound.
Rotate it some more. More. Maybe we should just cut our losses here. Literally cut our losses.
Yeah, fuck him. Fuck that faggoty. Corpse fucking time.
It is most certainly not. Now, don't you kids have a boggle tournament to get to?
Told you my pig was hardcore.
I should have a go first. I think I have a strategy.
That's so good to hear, Kim, because I have a 28% chance. Here you go. Here you go.
He sinks the cutters into the knot, preparing to perform the cuts, with his elbow to his knee for precision. Snap. The knot is slashed. Another cut and the belt falls apart like a flower bouquet, revealing the dead man's neck and the dark red ligature mark around it.
Thanks for stepping in there, Kim. I was really having a crisis of self-confidence.
Here,
He hands you the chain cutters back and then kneels closer to the body, running his finger sensuously along the dark red groove until he comes to a gap. Oh, it's getting very, very, explicit. That's the word.
the rope rises to a point, leaving a gap in the ligature mark. The suspension point is in the back of the neck, on the nape.
Right on the nape.
Hemorrhaging is observed on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. The mark is well pronounced, consistent with a drop from 1 or 1.5 meters.
Write it down.
Chest is intact. Normal contour. Abdomen is protuberant. Pelvis intact. Genitalia...
He pulls down the man's underpants. I wait with bated breath.
No! Let's get up and see!
Kids, that boggle tournament, it's not going to play itself.
I fucking knew it!
This is clearly what they've been waiting for, ever since the autopsy began. The lieutenant is trying to make it as boring as possible.
Can we set up some sort of privacy curtain? Could I expose my... Not expose, what's the word? Expand? My coat into a privacy curtain. Don't expose anything, whatever you do.
Genitalia is male and unremarkable. No evidence of injury.
Poor little dear. He's got unremarkable genitalia. So does it look like he was enjoying his moment of death? What an inappropriate question. Inspect the genitals for yourself. I must know. I must know the details. No, write it down and move on. Frankly, if Lieutenant Kim had said that he had remarkable genitalia, I'd probably take a peek, but as it stands, we're moving on.
Back is symmetrical and intact. Upper and lower extremities are intact, but asymmetrical. There are combat injuries on the right hand, thigh, and hip. In addition, I see smaller, residual scars, too numerous to count, covering about 30% of his skin.
Ouch. Somebody fell into a thicket.
From wounds sustained over 2, maybe more decades, dispersal and accumulation indicates long and active combat duty.
Damn, he's out here getting his genitals called unremarkable even after death. It is sad. It's a sad state of affairs. He can't even blame the cold. On one hand, we should all have some respect for the corpse, but on the other hand, I am laughing my ass off, so let's continue. The scarring is extensive, way more than a law official's. As long as I can say that out loud to seem like I'm part of this, and also write it down in the report, I'd like to be a part of it.
Mm-hmm. We have
Write
a
it
real
down.
museum here. Of battles, wars.
Unremarkable genitalia, never mind.
Last item. Hands.
He takes the man's right hand in his, tenderly, inspects it, and then moves on to the other hand. Pick up the hand. Oh, I should let the lieutenant work alone. I'm still wearing my tainted gloves. Ba-bum-bum. Tainted gloves.
Hands are clean.
I got excited.
No sign of a recent struggle.
Alright, so when he was carried in, presumably by the Hardley boys, he was not struggling? Is there any sort of head injury that would account for this lack of struggle? We'll get to that. Were we expecting a struggle?
I was. Maybe I'm just
Yeah,
not
me
seeing
too.
them. Honestly, this stench is making it hard for me to think at the moment.
Oh, that's fair.
Working so close to the
Haven't showered
fumes
in
coming
several
from the
days.
corpse must be hard. You realize suddenly that the lieutenant has been barely keeping it together these past 2 items.
You're doing a great job, Kim. I love you, and I'm proud of you. Like a mother. I'd like to mother you if you'll allow me. Also, I'm gonna write it down.
Ooh. That's all for the external. Well done. What next?
That's some excellent audio work there of him muffling his voice in his jacket. Alright, time for the internal examination. That ought to smell better than what we were just doing that you're already struggling with. Crack him open.
Central nervous system. I have nothing. Do you have anything on this man's central nervous system?
Oh, I've got dirt, baby. I've got so much on this man's central nervous system.
Of course, there is a moral to be drawn from it. A moral to this story.
If I may add, the moral of this story hardly really seems like the time for grandiose speeches. But I am curious. I am curious.
What would that be?
He looks at you, inquisitively, his little eyes shining up at you with motherly pride. Wait, we're mothering each other now? This has gotten weird.
The dead man looks, too, with barely contained excitement to hear the moral of his story.
Well, see, it all started back when the brain is very vulnerable to compromises in its blood supply.
I think that may well be the moral of every story, officer.
All right, not applicable.
Good. Musculoskeletal. Purge fluid is coming from the mouth. Not injury-related. Eyes and tongue protuberant. Hyoid bone. Let's see.
Whoa. Let's leave his hyoid bone out of this.
With his eyes almost closed, the lieutenant puts his hand on the dead man's throat and begins to massage it. Gently, a rotting smell erupts from the mouth. Purge fluid runs down his lips, black and viscous.
Can I interest anyone in some canapes? No? Glass of mystery liquid?
Yeah, jack that fucker off!
That's not what we're doing here. That's not the job of the police, not unless we're being paid extra.
The hyoid bone is fractured. The rest of the musculoskeletal system is intact. Unremarkable.
Writing it down.
Respiratory system.
Back hunched. Ouch. If that was how his hunched back sounds, I think he needs a chiropractor stat. I am so sorry. What a nightmare that was. Some sort of electromagnetic interference. Ahem. Back hunched, as if in prayer, he begins to pry open the dead man's jaws. He stops to exert more force. Both hands are used. The perfect time to tickle him!
Oral cavity shows no lesions. The victim has received dental implants, possibly after a combat wound. Mouth swollen. Hemorrhaging present in mucosa of the lips and mouth.
Look inside the dead man's mouth out of sheer morbid curiosity.
No scream, no sigh of relief rises from the darkness inside. It's humid there. Sickly sweet air, unlike anything living. You feel like you're about to throw up again, straight in that mouth of his.
No, don't do it. Don't you do it. Back away. Really want to look deeper inside. But if I throw up into the corpse's open mouth, Kim is just gonna lose it. He's already struggling so hard. But I'm so curious what happens if I look deeper inside. What if there are important clues in there? I gotta do it. I'm sorry, Kim. I'm sorry, corpse's open
It's
mouth.
hard. Once more,
Oh,
you
that
taste
damaged my
stomach
health.
acid in the back of your throat. A contraction. Your throat pumps a little something from your stomach and into your mouth. You're forced to swallow, just to keep looking.
I probably shouldn't have done that.
Inside, you see darkness. Just a mess of meat and darkness.
I think my superiors are going to question your reasoning for feeding him like a baby bird when he's already dead. Alright, we understand that he was strangled. What we don't understand is why the killer threw up into his open mouth. I don't know why police headquarters sounds like this, but they do.
There are ancient mysteries down there, Kobo. Ask me later.
Will do, Inland Empire. Thank you for chiming in.
Hemorrhaging present in mucus.
The lieutenant repeats impatiently, hoping that you're not about to blow chunks. He lets go of the jaws. The mouth snaps shut before you like a cute elderly turtle.
Hepatobiliary. NA.
What's hepatobiliary? What's that? Don't we have anything for that?
Are you a hepatobiliary expert?
No, I'm not. I lied to you. I just wanted to impress you. He looks at the corpse's stomach with a mixture of tiredness and disgust. You know, I don't think
Neither
I
am I.
am. And
That's
that's
it.
Alright. Not
Same
applicable.
for toxicology and serology. NA.
I'm not going to make this more difficult for Kim than it already is. Not applicable.
Cardiovascular. The body exhibits heavy lividity. Blood has gathered in the hands, feet, and neck. Hypostasis is visually consistent with the hanging. Gastrointestinal.
He breathes a sigh of approaching relief. This is the last field on the list. He looks around to the ground. The pool of, well, you know what, lying
This
there.
will do.
Digested semi-solid food in stomach. Voila.
He touches the corpse's bloated lower abdomen. I didn't know this was a romance novel. Briefly. Write it down and keep the voila. I like a little flair of the dramatic in there, but I don't want to get him in trouble. I don't want to get him in trouble with police headquarters. I'm keeping it.
What's next on the list?
Number 3. The description of injuries. A brief summary, if you
Let's see.
would.
We have bite marks, contusions on the head and chest, and a ligature mark encircling the neck. You'll need 3 fields. Leave a 4th one too.
All right. And what about the injuries that, well, that we have inflicted? Have we? Have we inflicted injuries? We'll start with bite marks.
Head, chest, and scalp bite mark injuries. Predation by birds has caused damage to the body. Odontologist does not need to be consulted.
Head, chest, and scalp bite mark injuries. Scalp bite mark injuries. Head, chest, and scalp bite mark injuries. Sorry, I was exercising. Write it down.
And your opinion, officer?
Beneath the description, there are 2 boxes waiting to be ticked. Number A. Is that how numbers work? Opinion, fatal injury. Or B, non-fatal, post-mortem. Alright, head, chest, and scalp, bite mark injuries. Predation by birds has caused damage to the body. Nope, non-fatal, post-mortem. Number B.
Agreed. Next injury?
Contusion.
So, the scalp bleeds from a post-mortem head injury, a stone. The injury does not have the rim of an early inflammatory response. The perpetrator on the scene has confessed to causing it post-mortem.
That's what we'll call you from now on, Kuno. The perpetrator.
At
All right.
maximum velocity, fucko!
Yeah,
Has
yeah.
confessed to causing it at maximum velocity.
Hell, that's a worse charge. You were gonna get away with a misdemeanor, Kuno, but not at maximum
The
velocity.
lieutenant's admission has caused great gratitude in Kuno. He is silent with it. Coagulated blood sticks to his scalp and chest, where the countless stones have hit the dead man. Beneath, the description of injury. 2 boxes.
Non-fatal. Post-mortem.
Right. Next.
Alright, before I do that, which seems to finish the autopsy automatically, what's the 4th injury field for?
Nothing. Just in case.
Alright. Have we inflicted any injuries upon the poor man?
So we inflicted them?
Okay, the injuries I have inflicted on the poor man. I can't recall if I did. I don't think I did. But let's pretend I did for the sake
Okay,
of
so
comedy.
there's an incision on the thorax from a chain cutter. I
Oh,
wouldn't
yeah,
mention it.
I did twist
Better not
that
to
a bit
muddy the
hard.
waters.
Sure. The waters are muddy enough. Isn't that sloppy, then? Isn't it? Look me in the eye and tell me it's sloppy. Yeah, sure. It was an accident. It's not that important. It's not that sloppy, really. I
See?
agree.
These pigs are fucking corrupt.
That's also a fair
Why
point.
don't you fuck 'em if you love 'em so much?
Now, injuries.
So, number 3, the ligature
A
mark.
dark red abraded ligature mark encircling the neck. There's a gap on
So
the
nice
nape
to see you.
measuring, let's say, 7 centimeters. The hyoid bone is fractured. The cervical column intact.
I hope you sleep in the bosom of the angels themselves. But not indefinitely. Not forever. No, don't die. Wish I could read this report later. The partner barfed into the corpse. Oh no! The odontologist doesn't need to be consulted except for those huge bite marks made by teeth on his body. Yeah, we might want to consult. We might want a consultation here. Alright. This is indeed
I
the
see
fatal...
hemorrhaging on the skin, above and below the ligature
I
mark.
do believe.
Depth of the mark, 1 centimeter. No signs of clawing on the neck.
So he wasn't, conscious when he was hung, perhaps? Feeds into the no sign of struggle thing. But he didn't really mention any other wounds, besides the stones, the bird marks. So he's not, like, cracked over the head and dragged here. Does that mean that he was drugged? Perhaps by a special borscht. Aha! It's all coming together.
Below the note, 2 customary boxes wait to be ticked. The man's head jerks to the side. The ring around his neck is visible.
He's also awaiting my judgment, but we thought better than to speak of that aloud. Opinion, fatal injury.
That's it. We have established cause of death. It's not much, and it leaves much to be questioned. But it's a start.
Like, was he drugged with special borscht?
Let's wrap this up. I pronounce this field autopsy over.
All right. He produces a small black plastic roll from his jacket, a body bag. How did it go? Was I a helpful
Well,
assistant?
We established probable cause of death. Some would say that's the goal of an autopsy.
Did you notice when we were investigating the corpse that I did not, I repeat, did not, blow chunks into his mouth? It was open mouth while you were holding it open.
We were thorough with the list of injuries, too. We described them all in detail. What is there to say? Given the circumstances, it was a professional field autopsy.
Well, then I'll sleep good tonight.
I
What
need
now?
a copy of that autopsy form. Then I will drive him to Faubourg.
Rip out a copy of the autopsy pages.
For processing.
Ow! My Achilles heel. He looks at the dead man one more time, then at the slip of red paper in his hand, then at the corpse again, wistfully, remembering the better days when we used to play volleyball shirtless together, the 3 of us, the dead tattooed man, Lieutenant Kim, and I, sweaty near the surf, sand sticking to our eager nip-nips as we beat against the surface of the ball, muscular grunts sounding out upon the sea air, the salt breeze. Sorry, I was getting into...
He's thinking, did I miss something?
Did we miss something?
I'm sure we didn't get everything. There's always something.
I mean, there's always something. Perception. Search the body one more time, very thoroughly. I get a -1 for having already established probable cause? That doesn't seem fair. If I hadn't established probable cause, we would... Alright, let's bag him. Strange. So it's like I could get rid of the corpse right now. We could do our job, send him on into the headquarters for further processing, but we might later get a call saying, "Ring, ring, hey, you big dopes, you missed something. You missed the needle marks from the special borscht injection." Or I can leave him here to continue to be pecked to death by birds, to further death by birds, and try to build my perception, which is very unlikely to be within a passable range anytime soon. Try to remove the dead man's boots. When in doubt, steal some pretty boots. Tell me something, dead man, before I bag
Shoot,
you.
loony Rooney.
I hate you. You stink and you're boring. So, at the autopsy, you said that you have ancient mysteries lodged in the darkness of your throat. Care to tell me about those?
Oh yes, Kobo mi Lobo. in the gift horse's mouth. Tracts and wakes and waterways, ancient materials buried.
Waterways to where, my brother?
Just a small gulp away, my beloved Kobo. A small gulp away.
I reach into his mouth with my whole ass. By which I mean my hand, but like I put my whole ass into it. I really reach in there. I don't know what to do with that information, but thank you. It was nice to speak with the corpse again. I'm having a blast getting to know
Come
you.
back later, Kobo. Amuse yourself with my frank manners and my memento mori features. If possible, also, see me in your dreams.
I definitely will. So I've balanced out the negative from my establishing probable cause, but it has not increased my percentages whatsoever. Not even a touch. Not even a touch of percentages. Let me quick save it here, just in case. I'll be right back with you, Kim. In fact, I'm just going to make a full manual save. What's the harm? Probably fine to overwrite this one. Alright. Now, do I have... I have 3 skill points. So we could put like 1, perhaps 2 of them into perception to increase our chances. Just a touch. But first, did I have anything I can wear that will assist me in this endeavor? This cloak gives me the chivers. Nothing is removing perception from me. Nothing will gain me perception. So, skill points aside, we're on our own. We have the save made. Let's do it quickly. I'm gonna put 1 point... I mean, while we're
The
at it,
man
I'm just
is
gonna
decomposed.
waste a
The lieutenant
3%er.
adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
3% chance. Fingers crossed.
You run your hands over the victim's
Ow.
cold body, his limbs, his torso with its swollen organs. Maybe you should be more thorough.
Look in his pants again. He's not... Oh, in his... those kind of pants. I get it. Look under his fingernails like Kim already did. I'm sure that's just gonna insult the good lieutenant. I mean... Let's try to leave him with a little dignity. I'm not gonna look in his pants. I'm gonna give up. We know that whatever the clue is in
The
his
corpse
mouth.
seems to yawn contentedly, as though
Do you think we missed something?
you can't
do.
shake the feeling that there are more
think we
secrets
missed something
concealed
in his
the
mouth.
flesh before you.
Yes, there is something we're not seeing, because it's inside of him, just behind the
Okay,
nip-nips.
well, we are in livor mortis here. He is disintegrating. We need to refrigerate the body if we want to conduct another examination, and we need to do it fast.
Refrigerate the body. Where do we find a fridge for the body? Well, let me introduce you to my giant taxidermied bear from the ice cream kingdom beneath the streets. God, I love this game. So does that mean I only get 1 try at it above ground? And now I have to go through all the trouble of dragging a bloated corpse below the streets, packing him into a bear-shaped ice cream freezer, and then trying again? 'Cause that just seems rude. That seems like a lot of effort and rude. Can't he just hang out here for a while
If you want for this
longer?
task to slowly become impossible, then yes. Otherwise, no. He's been hanging out far too long already. We need to ice him.
Yeah. Let's ice him.
Not to mention the damage that would be dealt to the force's reputation by the corpse just rotting here like this.
Okay, where do we find a
Hey.
fridge?
Wasn't there a giant ice bear sarcophagus below that building?
Oh, you know, you're right. There sure was a giant ice bear sarcophagus. Why, yes, there was. An absolutely colossal fridge, still plugged in, literally in the shape of an ice bear. Oh, so that's what the ice bear-shaped refrigerator is for. I like this meta-commentary. Why, yes, there
Now,
was.
detective, I've rarely been disappointed by the size of a giant ice bear fridge, but I think we should still take a look at it first. Make sure it's big enough before we carry him over.
That's probably wise. Now that we've taken his
Let's move.
measurements.
With every hour, whatever we are looking for in the deceased will become harder to find.
He closes his notebook and cracks his neck. Kim, is your neck okay? Alright, so obviously I failed at the 3%. I sure would like to just cart him from here, like 20 feet this way, to Lieutenant Kim's motor carriage. That would be the easiest way to deal with this, rather than dragging him underground and stuffing him into an ice bear fridge. So let me just see what our percentage chance is with 1 point increase. Now that we know it's sort of a one and done, or else we have to move him, I'll throw a point into perception. We can probably spare 2 if we absolutely have to, but it wouldn't be my preference. Please select the corpse. There you go.
The man
There
is
in the end.
decomposing visibly. The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
Alright, that takes me to 8%. More than a double increase. But still not great chances. I'm sure whatever's in there is quite important. But what if it's just like a pair of novelty sunglasses lodged in his throat? What if we don't need whatever it is at all?
You run your hands over the victim's whole
Failed.
body, his limb.
Alright. So there's really no chance of us passing it at 8%. There's definitely no chance at 3. What if we put 2 points in perception?
The
Which is
man
not
is
ideal for
The
me.
lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
17%. Hot damn, now we're talking. I like them odds. I really don't. I wish I hadn't established probable cause.
Your arm reaches out and your eyes close, as if by their own volition. It's dark all around. You feel cold, dead flesh through the latex glove. It's right under the palm of your hand.
I mean, yeah, we cheated significantly to get there, but success still feels delicious. What is this?
His face, his cheeks, his nose, his fat, swollen lips. Like a rubber spider, your gloved hand crawls on his features. Everything is silent, all around.
Why would I crawl up his nostrils or squeeze his nose? I mean, I would prefer for Kim to be doing this with the clean gloves. The sanitized gloves that we didn't literally find on the ground next to the garbage. But it's fine. Put your garbage fingers in his mouth.
The oral cavity is cold and moist. A ball-like tongue attaches itself to the base of the mouth, lolling around like a scallop.
Why am I hungry? Why does that make me hungry? I think I need therapy.
You're on the right track.
Play with it? No, this isn't the time. Open your eyes and look at what you did. Sorry, I thought I was watching Dexter for a second. This feels right, I guess. Play with it.
The tongue moves freely in the cavity. The mucus of the mouth is slippery, fragile, even through the latex. From the soft meat, teeth are budding. Hard pearls of bone in the gums. And in the back of the mouth.
And in the back of the mouth, dot, dot, dot.
Can you feel it? You're so close. Rip his jaws open now. Look in.
Don't rip his jaws open. Just look. Just look in. Open your eyes and look at what
A
you get.
vision of black and dark red death, pried open by your hands and studded with teeth. Looks like he's laughing. Death fumes rising from his throat. And there, in the back of his mouth, above the bell of the uvula, right in the soft palate.
Pow! Right in the soft palate. Right in the bell of the uvula. Ring-a-ding-ding.
You see a hole, barely visible to the human eye. It is swollen shut, almost vanished. No larger than 0.4 centimeters in radius, the edges appear darkened.
I mean, I give Harry Dubois a lot of crap for how free he's lived his lifestyle of debaucherous, sort of gun-losing, nighttime drug sprees. But what a cop. What a man. What an absolute paragon of justice. To see this tiny little hole and just know, with all of his coply instincts, that it was there. He's a real Dick Mullen.
An abrasion collar. This is what we're after.
Say abrasion collar out loud, and or swear, or just jiggle it gently with your finger. Just woogly 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 woogly. I'm gonna say abrasion collar, see if that means anything to Kim.
Abrasion collar.
The lieutenant looks in. There's a pen in his hand. His notebook is open at the copy paper. Life of debauchery? How dare you? It is my favorite joke. I love it so. What are you fixing to do with that pen there, Kim Kitsuragi?
Kuno is silent.
Oh, you're just taking notes? Good. That's probably for the best. I'm gonna wiggity 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 with my finger gently.
A black trickle of liquid runs into his throat from the wound.
Put your finger in. Okay.
Your index fits right in there. A tight tunnel of flesh opens up. Tissue damage. Wide enough for 2 fingers. As you push both in, you reach through his mouth, right into his brainstem.
I'm feeling his thoughts. They're very dark.
Fuck is happening?
I mean, you're not alone in this sentence.
Ah, shit, see?
Brainstem. Push deeper. Feel around a bit first. Really get comfy in there. Figure it
The
out.
basal ganglia feels clumpy. What entered here has torn apart his reptilian complex.
You guys ever have one of those mornings where you wake up and the basal ganglia just feels clumpy? I've had one of those mornings.
This man will never sleep again. Never wake.
Push deeper.
Your yellow fingers slide into the remains of the limbic system. There is no resistance. It's gelatinous. The slug-like structures are damaged too. The tearing extends deep into both hemispheres.
Can you do this whole sequence without gloves on? Is that an option? I'm very curious. If we can do this whole sequence with no gloves, just 2 fingers of scotch right in his basal ganglia. No protection. That's weird. The way I phrased it is weird. Let's continue with the game, everybody. So there is a cavity cut right between the hemispheres.
The lieutenant answers with the sound of his pen on paper.
Who's the assistant now? We both are. High five me. Joint assistanthood.
Fucking cavity, see?
Cat got your tongue, Kuno? This is real police work. Fascinating, isn't it?
Quivering with awe.
Push deeper.
Your fingers are all the way in now, reaching toward the inside of his skull. The cavity goes further, but the entry wound isn't wide enough for the rest of your hand to follow.
Wriggle in.
Your fingers reach toward his skull. His cerebral cortex feels like jelly. Cold jelly. Strange fluid streams down your wrist as you push deeper until you feel it on the tip of your finger.
What is it that I feel on the tip of my
Ice
finger?
cold serrated metal. Its edges cut right through the latex and into your
shit.
finger.
72% chance of fishing it out. That's good news. No, this is too much. I feel a solid object. Just for your note-taking prowess, Kim. Right under the skull.
Can you get to it?
Yeah, probably. I'm gonna inspect the skull
There's
first.
a tiny crack, a protrusion in the cranium, right in the back of his head. Your finger must be pointing straight at it, from the inside.
Can't you see me, Kim? I'm pointing straight at it. Oh, yeah, his head is in the way. Sorry, I'm on the inside. I thought for a second we could
The
all see.
object that is in there stopped just short of the skull, in the encephalus, knocking this tiny fracture into the cranium.
We have the makings of a very small exit wound here.
The lieutenant leans closer. You can practically smell his cologne. It's very expensive.
Forget about the fucking exit wound, Beano. The pig is wearing him like a fuck puppet.
Ladies and gentlemen, John Cleese! Yay! I'm kidding, kids. I didn't make a puppet out of him. It's fine. 83% chance, now that I've inspected the skull first. That's real good, but it's a red check. Would it be worth pulling my hand all the way out to quick save it, or should I just trust in my 83%? Because we've come this far, and I don't want to have to pass that first check again, which will likely never happen again. We've come this far, and if it succeeds, yay. If it fails, I'll be devastated. But I don't know if pulling my hand out and then having to wriggle it all the way back in again is such a good idea for the evidentiary record. 83. I trust it. I trust. It's gonna be fine, right? Hold my hand. Oh, thank God.
You pick the object between your index and middle finger. It feels sharp, like metal. With your face twisting from pain and concentration, all you need to do is just...
Whisper. I got it.
My pig's fucking got it.
Yeah, that's right, Kuno. You proud of me,
He's
Dad?
watching his old man get the big prize at the claw game.
Aww. I'm honored.
What is it?
Slowly pull your fingers out for the big reveal.
The inside of the head feels cold and smooth, like a glove. Sweat dripping down your brow. Careful not to lose the prize between your fingers.
And just when you're about to pull the bullet out, oh, you blow chunks right into his open mouth. The bullet is lodged beneath your sick, never to be found again. Oh, man, this went terribly.
With a plop, your hand emerges from the mouth. The garden glove
No,
is
that's
covered
not
in
what
blood
happened.
right up to the wrist. Between your fingers, a small flower, a blossom made of lead.
Hot diggity damn. We gotta do the forms again. Hold your nostrils, Kim. We're starting over from box 1.
Fucking beautiful.
A bullet.
The lieutenant puts a small bag marked evidence under it. I got confused halfway through. Drop it in.
The bullet falls in the bag, leaving a smattering of blood on the plastic. He raises the bag under his eyes and says,
A non-caliber. Rifled. Some kind of brittle alloy. Fractured on impact.
Can I have it, or you keep it, Lieutenant, as a gift? That's evidence, and we have to send it with the body. I'm assuming the lieutenant is going with the body, so you keep it, Lieutenant. But it's not really a gift. I'm trusting you to get this back to the station.
No, you deserve it. We can log it later.
Okay. Thanks, I I guess now I have to take the body. The lieutenant drops the bag in your hand. It feels light. You're a little light, Kim. I'm gonna need you to cook. Cook? Yeah, sure. Kick up a little better next month, or else I'm gonna break your kneecaps.
We need to add an item to the injury list.
You could also
Injury
cook
number
for me.
4.
That'll even us out.
Oval entry wound with an abrasion color. Soft palate, back of mouth.
Yes, we do.
High
Shock
velocity.
forms.
Temporary cavity in brain tissue. Small exit wound on the occiput. How does that sound?
Well, that sounds like heaven. What a weird thing to say. What a weird little cop you are. That sounds about right.
Opinion, fatal injury.
You goddamn right. Sorry, I got dramatic. Agreed. Shake the gloves clean. Is this the only option under which I can shake my gloves clean? Because I really would like to use these later. Shake the gloves
That was
clean.
then. This time we have extensive tissue destruction away from the wound track. This time we have a bullet.
You're goddamn.
And one last thing.
Yeah.
We should amend injury number 3. Ligament mark. New opinion, non-fatal. Post-mortem. Treatment.
He's proposing the bullet was the real cause of death, and the hanging an attempt to conceal this fact.
The ligament mark, the fractured hyoid bone, it was all treatment. Like popcorn garland on a already decorated tree. Sorry, I don't know why I'm trying to tie it into the Christmas season. I just felt jolly for a second.
Yes, and the belt around his neck. The hanging. Even dragging him to the yard. All of it was done after this man was already dead.
So that's why there didn't seem to be any sign of a struggle. He was not drugged, or just, I guess, really wanted to be hanged. He was in fact dead the entire time. I can't speak anymore. Okay, I kind of agree. That lines up with everything we've seen so far, but are we jumping to conclusions? Let's ponder it. Like the ponderous toad of the greater Seattle swamps. Dead dabba-doop-doop. Is that some sort of pop culture reference that I don't get? I think I agree.
I have
Yes.
had my doubts about this since you told me he was doing something else at the time of his death. I don't have that kind of intuition. I don't usually trust it. But it made me doubt.
You and I, we make each other better, Kim. Should we maybe kiss under the tree?
There have been other signs too. Small details. Everything is too neatly designed for us to assign probable cause here, as we did full-heartedly. Well, no more.
Secret task complete. Find the bullet before you get fooled. Who was going to try to fool us? Or who is still going to try to fool us, but now we have the upper hand. Suck it, you unnamed antagonist.
We almost fell for it, he thinks. Almost. There is, of course, the very real possibility he was both shot and hanged.
Logic, you never let me down. Maybe they just shot him while they hanged him. Except for the whole struggling thing. He made no attempt to wriggle free while they went to hang and shoot him. I'm guessing he was shot first. Who would do this? Why would anyone do this? Slowly spiraling into a panic attack. Maybe the bullet holds more answers. I mean, beyond the fact that he said it was a small caliber rifle bullet, I'm not sure what other answers we can get. But we could inspect it. We'd inspect it more fully. I do think I need to wash myself, but that's more of just it's been a long few days. Something we can handle after hours. This is probably the most professional thing to
Yes,
say.
we should take a closer look at it. I am certain it has more to tell us.
This little thing could reveal much about the weapon that shot it.
Alright. I do think I need to wash myself. I'd like to vocalize that, so that I may manifest it into my future destiny.
Oh, you really, really do. I am glad to hear you say that. Your room in the Whirling in Rise should come with a bathroom. Be sure to make use of it in the evening.
Oh, I certainly will. New task. Wash off the death smell. Fair enough. If you did not say that out loud, would you just continue stinking the entire time? What happens next?
We bag the corpse and carry him to the holding pen of my kinema. I can transport him to processing myself, but I will be gone for the rest of the day.
You'll be gone? What am I gonna do without you? What should I do in the meanwhile?
Work on the case. Tend to personal matters. Try not to do anything too dangerous. An officer needs backup in a neighborhood like this.
Gotcha. I'm gonna go collect figurines to, quote, win her back. I'll see you
I'll
tomorrow.
leave that choice to you. And one more thing. Great work, detective.
Oh. God, I didn't think I could get any more aroused, but hearing Kim say that while looking me in the eye.
The word lingers in the air of the yard. Far away, dogs are barking. Further yet, the sound of motor traffic. Detective.
Oh. Stop. Stop. I've gone bright
After you
red.
bag the corpse, Lieutenant Kitsuragi will leave the party until tomorrow morning. You can do side tasks, and even the main case, but it might be more difficult. Plan his exit accordingly.
Sure. We would have another, let's say, 5 hours with Kim before he nights off to beddy time. But this isn't like first thing in the morning, necessarily. We could just have Kim go for it now, take care of the body. I can run around collecting bottle caps until the morning time. But I don't know if I'm going to come across something very, very important. You stop threatening me with a popcorny time, you sick such and such. My apologies. What I could do, we have some time until the evening. I can look around, make sure there's nothing else I need to grab, nothing else has changed after the body's been down from the tree, and then to prevent me from, like, making progress in the main case without Kim, or running into a sticky situation without Kim, I could read all of my remaining case files, and perhaps we could return to Joyce and learn more about our reality. We only did like half of her conversation, which Kim doesn't really need to be there for, since he remembers what reality is, and I do not. So it's like this might be a good time, this might be a thematically appropriate time for Kim to take the body, and I have some catching up to do about the world. I'd like to just get it out of the way. If I send the corpse away, we will never get the dead man's boots. It's another small sadness of mine. I'm hoping it will take that into account for our task to find all the armor pieces and be like, hey, you already had the boots. Don't worry. You did the best you could. But I'm fully confident that I need to possess the boots in my inventory in order for it to happen. You wouldn't dare run into a sticky situation without Kim, would you? Not intentionally. Definitely not intentionally. So I shouldn't remove the dead man's boots in front of Kim, and Kim will not leave the corpse. He is taking it. So I don't think we're gonna get all the armor pieces, but that's fine. Let's not rob the poor man of his last remaining bit of clothing. Take him away, Kim. I love you.
All right.
He takes out a shiny black body bag and starts pulling the plastic over the dead man's face. He's trying to suffocate him! Police! Police!
There go those beautiful enamel boots. You will never own the full set now. May they rest in processing.
And there's the confirmation of my deepest fears. It's fine.
I will need a little help carrying him. You take the hands, I'll take the legs.
Why don't I get the legs? You always take the legs, Kim. You always do this. Alright. motor carriage away. So I guess that means I also have no radio as a possible side-questing option. But that's fine. Alright, backyard is finally free from the smell of terribly and irreparably soiled underpants. I think that's all for the greater good. We've done a good thing here today. I've had just about enough of talking to Kuno, if I'm honest with you. Let's move on out of the backyard. What else should we check? The working class woman yet remains, browsing away. So I could go, like, up to my room and wash off first. That'd probably be a good thing to start with. But we have an entire evening, a late afternoon and evening, Kimless. So I'll want to be a little bit careful about where I go and who I speak with. I can also try to break into Kim's room and play with his... I don't know. We'll find out when we get in there what we're going to play with of his. Collection of cotton swabs, no doubt. Gently used. Really? Has there been an empty cassette case here the entire time? Worst detective ever. Alright. Words fail to describe how rank it smells in here. They should have sent a poet. Will not look in the mirror. I will gently try to jimmy open the bathroom door connecting Kim's room to mine. Nothing. Alright. Rubber ducky, you're the one.
This is not the cleanest bathtub in the world, but it's cleaner than you are right now. Ah, that soap scum smell. It smells like life, at least compared to you.
I want to live forever with the corpse smell. No, I'd probably prefer not to live forever with the corpse smell. Thank you. Run yourself a bath, sir? Can I bring your favorite collection of floaty toys, sir?
The bathtub slowly fills with water. The water beckons.
All right. Avert your eyes. You're about to see my cute little tuchus.
The water is only lukewarm, but still comforting. Like amniotic fluid. A few beer cans are bobbing up and down along your flanks, like sad duckies.
I'd like to imagine that I'm fully nude in the bath. Imagine with me, if you will, that I'm fully nude in the bath, but I'm definitely still wearing my yellow rubber
You
gloves.
feel nice and lonely, and so tired.
Let's go ahead and take the beer cans out. Maybe I can put them in my tear bag
Now
later.
you are alone with your thoughts in the tub.
Oh God, this
But
is
it's
worse.
easier than being alone with your thoughts outside the tub.
Now, that's true. God, I feel called out over here. Imagine something. Imagine how nude you are in the bath and yet fully
You
gloved.
see the corpse. You can still smell the cadaver on you. It's going to take more than one bath to get rid of that stench. Then, houses along a narrow street. A video rental. Darkness on the planet's curvature.
Yeah, it seems like a fairly sequential leap. A video rental, darkness on the planet's curvature. That's how I usually segue through my thoughts. Linger in the tub.
Your fingers grow pale and are covered with tiny
thank
whirls
goodness.
as the water cools.
That was just what I needed. All right, let's get out. Avert your eyes. You're about to see my
The
cute little
water line
tuchus.
recedes as you stand. You are cold now. Your clothes stick to your still moist skin.
Ew. That's the worst feeling. I hate it when you get out of a nice bath and you're not fully dry and you put your clothes on and they stick to your still moist skin. Never. I'll see you in hell, mirror. Alright, are you sure there's nothing you can do about the state of your boudoir?
The bed is still cold from the broken window, and not too inviting. But it's yours. You've earned it.
I am not sleepy. Thanks, though. Is there anything I can do about this window?
The window
have
stands
duct
broken
tape.
in its frame. Cold wind blows in. The morning light hurts your eyes. It's hazy, but you see the ocean and some war-torn buildings. The morning light hurts.
Alright. Let's check out this cassette case. It bothers me so much that I can't pick up this bottle. Ah! But fine. Fine. Don't seem to be able to pick up any beer cans that I lifted out of my tub, either. So no tear money for me. Oh well. Photo of a happy couple. A black and white photo of a couple posing in front of a Ferris wheel. The girl is young and pretty, the man clad in fancy uniform and smiling. On the back, a very steady hand has written the words Revachol Fair, summer of '91. There used to be a tape in this case, but it was destroyed in a fit of rage. Something about the Eternnière single smallest church in Saint-Saëns must have rubbed someone the wrong way. The label says the song was recorded in '43. Pronunciations not included. Sorry. Sorry about that, France. Evidence. A fractured bullet. The bullet mushroomed out on impact. It now looks more like a fanciful jacket button than something that could pierce skin, flesh, and
The
bone.
bullet is safely sealed away in a plastic bag bearing the RCM stamp. Kim has filled out the label on the bag with the item number, case number, and date and location the bullet was found. Beside his orderly handwriting, the bullet looks especially sad, like a tiny, shriveled head of cauliflower.
What can I do with you, bullet? The bullet has nothing more to say. Now let's speak to the
The
bullet.
squished little thing has no idea.
Aw, it's just doing its
I know.
best.
You should find the gun that shot this bullet.
Eat the bullet? Don't eat the bullet. Find the gun that shot it, sell it for profit. Hey, it's my friend. I'm gonna start talking to it. It will keep me company. I mean, to progress in the case, I should probably find the gun that shot it, but this is a strong contender. 'Cause I am sadly lacking in friends. My nights so cold and lonely. Find the gun that
That
shot
sounds
it.
like something a police detective would do. First, you should learn all you can about this little guy.
Wasn't there someone who knew about weapons? Was it like the two ex-soldier gentlemen by the seaside? Maybe I could run it by
Then
them.
find the gun that shot it and the person that gun belongs to. He used it to kill your victim. Neato.
Yeah, neato. Feel the bullet through the bag, but not in such a way as would compromise the
The
evidence.
squashed bullet has some sharp edges where the jacket has split open. It feels cold, even through the bag. You wouldn't ordinarily have cause to handle jacketed bullets. The citizens' militia uses cast bullets only. Little pebbles of metal loaded from the muzzle, usually in a cartridge.
Use your balls, your eyeballs, to inspect the bullet
The
closer.
jacket of the bullet is made of a yellowish metal. It has blossomed out to reveal a dark grey core. The base of the bullet is close to 5 millimeters in diameter.
Feels like I'm supposed to pick that second. Just based off the rules of grammar. Look at the
You can
jacket.
just about make out a few striations near the base of the bullet. Little hairlines, linear. It feels standard.
And the
It's
core.
quite destroyed. Some of the fragments are still lodged in the
Starring
wound.
Aaron Eckhart. Oh no. We should have pulled out those fragments too. Oh well. It's not our
Far
job.
away, Lieutenant Kitsuragi is flipping through stations in his Kanema. He is not here examining the bullet with you.
Oh no.
He should be. He would find this very intriguing. Mention it to him later when he's here.
We must mention it to him later. I said out loud that I wasn't going to walk into any sticky situations without Kim, and yet here I am, my sticky little fingers leaving track marks all over the bag. Alright, we gotta talk to him about those striations later. I'm looking forward to it. The bullet has nothing more to say. Put it away. Sorry, Kim, I'll fill you in. Anytime. Anywhere. Alright, so now hopefully we can talk to people without them going, ugh, at the very smell of us. Why am I stuck in place? Oh, there you go. We made it. Whew. Should probably clean the bottom of my shoes at some point. I'm getting stuck anytime I stand still for a moment. Again, I think I can push myself downstairs. That's not how stairs work in this world. Alright, so, be careful who you talk to without Kim around. What I could do is just go back up to my room and read case files until the end of the day. That would be a wise use of our time. But first, let's go visit Joyce and fill the rest of my reality gappage. Seems like a wise thing to do when Kim is not around. Ah, the sea. My first love. What's this? Ah! What's this? That highlight button is coming in all manner of handy. A locked dumpster, it seems. Nice. Couple of bottles for my trouble. Oh, Joyce. Thank you for being my sugar mommy.
You're back.
Really
Good.
helped me out of a pinch
What
there.
can I help you with?
Alright, we'll save that until Kim is back in our company. I've got some more questions about reality for you first.
More lessons in basic reality? My favorite part of the day. Go ahead, ask me anything.
So, what times are these? Best of times, would you say? Or are they perhaps the worst?
These are unimportant times, Detective. You and I were born after the dust had settled. 1,000th of a second too late.
Lucky us. Too late for
For
what?
the big time.
Her eyes light up. There's a flash of teeth. You find yourself suddenly attracted to Joyce. It's weird. What's the big
The
time?
revolution.
And what is this revolution I keep hearing about?
It's quite easy. Every 100 years or so, our species gets together to decide what's next, who gets shot in the head, and who gets the mineral rights. It's a real kerfuffle.
Sounds like a bit of an oversimplification, but also just bang on at the same time. So would you say it was a bunch of apes just duking it out? I'd pay good money to see that, as long as they were wearing boxing gloves. I don't want the apes to get hurt. Who got shot in the head? Who got the mineral rights? When was this kerfluffle? Who got shot in
Those
the
would
head?
be the communists. Generally speaking, 40 million people got shot in the head during the World Revolution. But the communists, they all got shot in the head.
Ouch.
She's not gloating. It's a relieved celebration.
Oh, and the anarchists too. They shot them well. So well, one forgets they even existed.
I'm gonna shoot you so well, everyone's gonna forget you even existed. Ah, that is chilling. Did the communists and the anarchists shoot back?
Did they ever? Before they got shot themselves, they shot 2 million people.
Truly a kerfuffle. Ah, It's very tempting to say. Sounds like they should have shot more people in the head then. I mean, she brought it up. I'm not just coming out with kerfuffle out of nowhere. We've paved the pathway for this comment. Let's go.
Yes. The Insulindian deluge, they call it.
Anyone else get shot in the head on the opposing
Oh,
side?
lots of people. Even the king got shot in the head, or thrown beneath a horse, or drowned. Accounts differ. It was unceremonious. Just as well, he wasn't actually the king. Just the king's nephew. The real king abdicated and lived out a long and productive life as a venture capitalist in Grad.
Well, of course he did. That makes perfect sense. Oh, I loved that kitten. I loved him so much, I'm choking on my own vocal cords. 1 second. Goodness. I mean, in a sense, smart. In a sense, cowardly. I don't have any opinion about the king, and I guess that means I don't care. Tell me something
About
else.
head shooting.
She smiles. She's into head shooting. Would you say it was a bunch of apes duking it out? Who got the mineral rights? More
The
importantly.
liberals got the mineral rights. And by mineral rights, I mean everything.
And by liberals, you
Liberals
mean...
are usually middle-class people, Detective. Or the remaining gentry. The beneficiaries of the pre-revolutionary arrangement.
those who most wish to maintain the status quo. I see.
Some were rich enough to stay with the Constitution, with monarchy. Big mistake. Others bet on the revolution. They were called the Ultras, or Ultra-Liberals. They fared well.
And just how did the liberals win it
They
all?
didn't win so much as survive. We were the last ones standing when the war ended. Everyone else got shot in the head, remember?
We? So you would consider yourself an ultra-liberal? Or perhaps just a liberal?
We.
Continue.
She's one of them. Of course.
Yeah. I picked up on that rhetoric, thank you. I feel like we're best friends now. If everyone got shot, who was there to surrender
To
to?
foreign intervention. The coalition. Those people really took the mineral rights.
Wait, you just said the liberals already took everything.
The liberals took everything that wasn't nailed to the ground. The coalition took the ground.
Ah,
The ocean, the laws, and the people.
and this coalition. Do
The
explain.
coalition of nations. Grad, Mesk, Vesper, Messina, Oranje, and Sur-le-Clay. The armed center of the world. They landed here and ended the revolution. It was the moralist thing to do.
I'm sure it
There
was.
is bitterness in her voice, tempered with understanding. She is critical, but ultimately understands the cause.
Moralists.
The moralists believe in keeping everything exactly the way it is. They believe in mineral rights, and not shooting people in the head.
Sounds great for the people who things are going well for, but with nothing able to change for the poor and downtrodden, not such a good
At
time.
least not in the same manner and volume as the others do. They are the long-standing provisional rulers of Revachol now, the coalition government. This is their zone of control. They embolden the RCM with crumbs of the same law they took. Technically speaking, you are a moralist.
Did you just point at me, madam? I'm honored.
The color
Thank you.
of moralism is blue. The official motto of Moral Intern, or Moralist International, is a blue forget-me-not, a piece of grey sky. Unofficial. For a moment, there was hope.
Just a little fleeting moment, and then it's gone. I don't think I am a moralist, ma'am. Well, not just technically, practically. For a moment, there was hope. Secret code phrase. Wink, wink. If always picking the option that doesn't commit to anything, then hell yes, I am. And also, I'm not. They're calling me out again. I don't think, in a financial sense, I don't think I'm rich enough to be considered a moralist. As if everything stays exactly the same and no one gets shot in the head, I'm gonna die in the gutter. If I was a little bit richer, oh, all on board with your philosophy. Great times. Forget the poor, am I right? Huh. Who cares about those folks? But I don't know, in my current situation, if I can jump on board with this. And I don't really have a way to deepen the complexity of my stance. I am or I'm not. I don't know if I am a moralist, ma'am. But I don't mean for that to put us at odds, as you seem deeply moralist. As is my partner, Kim Gitsuragi.
Of course. Not easy to be moderate about head shooting in your line of work.
It's a very understanding way to put it, thank you. So when did this whole kerfuffle
The
happen?
turn of the century revolution? Don't answer it. It's a trick question. The revolution began in '02 on the Isla of Grad, though by the end nearly the whole world had gotten involved.
And who started it?
It wasn't a who, but a what. A pandemic of Zarat, a particularly virulent prion disease, which the authorities in Grad proved unable to contain. Then Mazov came along and overthrew the government.
And what did this Zarat do?
It made people overthrow their governments.
Oh, no way, that's rad. Wow, really?
Of course not. It was a highly infectious microorganism that destroyed brain tissue. The actual causes of the revolution were material. The pandemic only provided the spark.
Where did it spread from there? But am I talking about the revolution or the prion disease? I'm not sure.
From Revachol and Grad? Not far. The world managed to cauterize itself. Mazov's government was overthrown in '08, and the coalition crushed the Revachol commune 2 years later. It was the end.
What came
Why?
next?
You and I, officer. Our lives in the zone of control.
She spreads her arms, raincoat flapping in the wind. In the distance, you can just begin to hear Celine Dion start to sing.
Something tells you her life and yours are not that similar. Maybe it's because she has a boat and you have that necktie, a pair of pants.
Yeah, I was about to say. Yeah, let's both be moralists. There's no difference between us. By the way, nice boat. And thank you for loaning me $130 when I was gonna get kicked out onto the streets. Hello, hello, nice to see you there.
Azrael.
It's been a while. Pleasure. Alright, our lives are very different from each other. What is the zone of control? Or near, far, wherever... No, copyright strike. Let's just address the elephant on the docks.
No doubt. But we share the same time and position on the planet's crust. That counts for more than you think.
It's actually a great sentiment that I can get behind. There's not that much separating us all, really, when you look at it from that perspective. Let's all embrace as one and make flaming hot schmoes. So what's the zone of control?
A city-state divided into free market zones under the everlasting interregnum of the Coalition of Nations. And you, of course, the citizens' militia.
The clatter of typewriter keys fills the main hall of the reappropriated silk mill. Precinct 41. Chad Tilbrook presses enter. Outside, Officer Elfboy Williams slams the door of an armored motor carriage.
I would really like to hear the backstory about Officer Elfboy Williams. Could we dive into that, memories?
The zone of control is the third incarnation of Revachol, after the failure of the suzerain and the commune.
see this in the chat. And she said, nice pants. Might I ask if I could get them half off? Wait, which half? We're talking ankles, or... I don't know. I think if you have to continue wearing the pants after half of them have been removed, it's more convenient to start with the ankles and move up, but from a fashion sense, I think it's kind of bold to start at the top and just have ankles left. I think that's kind of bold for the summer. What happened in the rest of the world?
Modernity. They developed the marvels of the inter-eastlery communication. Telematic milieus, radiation, colored plastics. Meanwhile, in Revachol West, the aftermath continues for the 5th decade.
Tell me about it. There's trash everywhere. The after trash continues.
51 minus 8 equals 43.
So you're saying it's been like this for 43 years?
Time flies.
Thanks, Logic. Finally, I could impress Joyce. What have you been doing all that time? That seems like a very forward question to ask. Wow, you're older than 43. Tell me about the dinosaurs. I would like to know about her, though. Any question about Joyce is a question for me.
The 20s saw a decade of urban war, west of the river leveled, offshore platforms in flames. Still, it's regarded as an improvement on what came before. 08 to 19 was simply hell.
And after
The
that...
30s? Things settled down in the 30s. Revachol East transformed itself into the world's largest tax haven, with the international community's blessing. For the first time in a long time, it seemed like things were going somewhere.
Were they?
No. It was a market mirage fueled by cocaine and quantitative easing. The 40s dispelled it like a cold splash. An Isla-wide hangover, you might say. And here we are.
She curtsies. It's a delight.
Welcome to reality, baby.
Thanks, Joyce. God, it's... like, I know we're kind of at odds in the whole union dispute, and she's here to just shatter the back of the working man, but I really like Joyce. She's so nice.
From the looks of it, the 50s haven't been much better for the zone of control. You can see it in her eyes. Days slipping away.
You don't seem to be thrilled.
I've no right to be dissatisfied. This shirt is Barbara Muscova, this raincoat is impervious to rain and is guaranteed for 100 years. My daughters will wear it. No, it's just...
Your daughters will wear it at the same time? Is it expandable? Or do you have just like two daughters who are very thin and can fit together? I'm trying to picture it, is all. She looks at the crumbling tenements, paint flecking from the stone. You watch your
We
language.
could have had so much more. Every one of us. If only we played it right.
Would you say instead of playing it right, it was just a bunch of apes duking it out?
Why, of course. We're talking Duke Out Central. Full swing intraspecies warfare.
It's Duke Out Central, baby. And the apes, were they evil? Were they damn dirty apes?
No. I would say the apes were neutral.
She looks at you, her gaze sharp. Okay, neutral. Just apes, then?
On the other hand,
She turns north to the bombed-out buildings lining the waterfront, and then shivers slightly, her expensive raincoat perhaps not quite as insulating as she first suspected.
No, the tiny apes are doing all they can to be better. It's not their fault.
Aw, I'm glad of that empathy. What game is this? This is called Disco Elysium. A sort of amnesiac walking disaster cop simulator in a beautifully handcrafted fantasy world. which is startlingly similar to our own in some respects, and is highly recommended by me, even though I've barely gotten off the docks. What would you have done differently? It's a very interesting question for Joyce.
Good question. What would you have done differently?
Ah, Uno reverse card. I see. You've caught me with my pants around my ankles, Joyce. Care to take advantage? I asked you first. I would have sought a medical solution. It sounds like Zarat drove those people mad. I would have killed more. 400 million, if that's what it took. Wow. I would have made off with the mineral rights. I don't know what I would have done differently, in all genuine honesty. But this probably seems like, again, I'm riding the old fence. And I'm going to be scolded for it. At the very least, my thighs are beginning to chafe. So I would have sought a medical solution. Sounds fairly, noble. Good for you. I have no medical knowledge whatsoever, but if possible, I would have sought a medical solution. It seems like I'm being disingenuous with Joyce. I would have killed more. It's not how I would answer this. I would have made off with the mineral rights. Do I look like an ultra-liberal to you? So I guess medical solution in an ideal scenario.
So a quarter of humanity simply lost their minds. And how would you stop a prion, a complex folding protein, unlife, with a technology 50 years ago?
Yeah, that's the problem here. This is the part that's not ideal. And the lack of medical knowledge on my part. Liquidate the rabid, prion-infested dogs who want to kill everyone with cleansing artillery fire. Doesn't sound so much like a medical solution as it does just shooting a bunch of people in a different way. Hygiene, modest social care, and perhaps a little research program. Of those three, a little research program might help a prion disease, not so much the hygiene and modest social care. With privatized healthcare and a work ethic that does not turn your brain into sponge tissue. It sounds great if you can pull it off. Okay, maybe it's impossible. What happened had to happen, and always will. Dark ending. So, a research program would have been great. Maybe that could have borne some fruit. Definitely not going to liquidate everyone. And privatized healthcare, that just seems like skirting around the issue. Research
Good
program.
hygiene. Really. A very moderate
Yeah.
solution to an
I know.
extreme problem. It's those sort of half measures that doomed the authorities in Grad.
Everybody wash your hands against the brain disease.
When they failed to step up, Marzov and his party stepped in. In this particular case, maybe a more robust state response might have been appropriate.
Alright. That's enough about the times, baby.
They are what they are. Who knows? An afterbloom may yet come. Anyway, enough sentimentality. Is there anything else you want to know?
Not so fast. Who is she in all this? Ask her who she is. She owes you an answer.
She doesn't necessarily owe me an answer. She did dodge the question, but I thought about doing the same. I do want to know what you are, though I have to assume you're some sort of steaming moralist. Just so steamy. She hums. You heard it.
She won't maneuver her way out of this one.
She won't maneuver her way, so just say nothing, sit back, and let it happen.
I am the vilest of the vile. A traitor. A devourer of nations and infants.
Not where I was expecting this to go. Are you speaking
I
metaphorically?
am an ultra.
An ultra-liberal? I am aghast, madam. Excuse me. I just gasped. Wait, what's an ultra? Ah, Dios mío. A liberal. Cool. I liberate pretty hard myself. Wink, wink. I don't understand. What's so vile about that? Let's information gather first.
An ultra-liberal. It's a type of liberal. From the revolution. It's, not the moderate kind.
And what makes you not moderate? The fact that you sided with the revolution? What's so vile about
Haven't you
that?
heard? I am a nether creature of the Forbidden Swamp. One of those who pushed the king under a shit wagon and betrayed the revolution.
Sounds super badass,
I
actually.
can see you thought I'd gone extinct. No sane person identifies as an ultra-liberal anymore. Not in broad daylight. You're a centrist at heart. A real moralist. Tell me, now that I've uncoiled myself, do you find me frightening?
I mean, your wealth could crush me like a grape beneath your steely boot, and that is somewhat frightening. I mean, even if just on a subconscious level, I fear you.
In her green eyes, you see a mixture of truth and self-satire. Decades of guilt and pride.
I forgive you. I forgive you, but only because you're so charming. I mean, that's the real truth of the matter here. I'm just gonna say I forgive you to be nice, but that implies that there's so much to forgive, which I'm not really aware of. How dare you betray the revolution, you uncoiled snake, you. But I forgive? Is she really that rich if both of her daughters are going to have to share the same coat? I mean, there could be 3. She could have 3 or 4 daughters, all snuggled in that coat. It's looking like a dire financial sitch. I forgive you.
I do hope so.
If
I
only to
hope
be a
we're
little bit
able to
comical.
remain collegial despite it. Remember, we were partners, whether you like to admit it or not. There's blood on many hands, I assure you.
Oh, you should have seen these gloves 1 hour ago.
When the dust settled, the Liberals were the only ones left to clean up the mess. By virtue of their survival, they were handed enormous power to shape the future. This was all our last generation managed.
This was the original question. Before she weaseled out of it, now that I've forced her to announce herself as an ultra-liberal, would you have done something differently?
With due respect to our overlords, the eternal caretaker government that keeps Martinaise a monument to the efficacy of its artillery, I would not have relinquished sovereignty to the coalition. Not here in Martinaise, and not in the Stella Maris or Delta Beachheads either. If not for my own sake, then for my daughters. We had an obligation to defend our sovereignty. We should have burned the whole Isola down rather than let them have it.
Dark orange flames reflect in her green eyes. An oil fire on the ocean.
She is mesmerizing. Quite genuinely. You're a smart woman. You have daughters? You've only mentioned them twice. This is news to me. She already knows. The opinion of one gin-addled, stumbling dock rat will not change the fact that she's already aware she's a smart woman. But it seems the nicest option for now. Though maybe I should just move the subject along to her daughters. Let's do that.
Yes. Whatever else I am, I'm also a mother. And a wife. Now, shall we return to reality?
She closes her eyes, then opens them again. A process we humans call blinking. What is acute encephalopathy? What is this? Spread your hands. What am I showing her? What is this? It's blood on my hands. So I can conceptualize something to ask her about. Something from the very deepest recesses of my mind, but I can go the old police access route with it. Tell me more about my position as an officer of the law. Or I can apparently spread my hands. I'm not sure if I'm making like a rude gesture or what. Let's conceptualize something to ask her about. Deep in my mind, but yes, yes to the mind, but oh, good. Interesting that my derealization thought line seems to have opened this up or tied into it. Here we go. Conceptualize.
What is all of this? The scent, the sound, the air.
What world is this?
What world? The only one, I suppose. The world of matter. And its pale antipode.
The fading pearls of her eyes look to the sea. In such a poetic turn of phrase, it practically breaks your heart.
The camera of her mind glides over the surface of the water.
What do you see in the camera of your mind?
Great bodies of water. Forest-covered surfaces. Clusters of light where the cities lie. You've seen the montage. We all have. This world is enough.
Great bodies.
There is
Continue.
a term of endearment they coined for it. In the DeLorean century, when humanity was high on this world, discovering more and more of it, these archipelagos included.
And this term was?
Elysium.
She said it! She said the title of the game. Wait, is this the one with the evil apes? Same world? Elysium. The world needs a term of endearment. This world does not deserve a term of endearment. I'll be optimistic. Every world needs a term of endearment.
It does. There are those who would call it hell.
Call it what now?
A term of hatred that originates, like many such things, with the Mesk petro-fascists.
Ew. I don't feel like I've got the whole picture yet.
Oh, you want a picture of the world? There is no complete set yet, dear. They're having some trouble reaching orbit.
How come?
Great things are difficult to achieve. For now, we're viewing the world from the inside, sideways.
The inside sideways? The inside ways? What shape is the world, then?
We used to think it was a sphere, but that is beginning to look less and less likely by the day. You wouldn't know it from the tabloids, but the ORG nations have been launching weather balloons into the lower ionosphere since the 30s.
ORG, Occident Revachol Grad.
There's a steadily increasing trickle of images. Between the big three scientific contributors, they're piecing together a dark grey corona.
A dark grey corona? A dark grey corona? Oh, this isn't the start of a musical number. I got confused.
Yes. Pale covers 72% of the surface. There are grey flares and prominences, even arcs above entire isolas. The images are blurry, but if there was a sphere in there, it certainly looks like it fractured a long time ago.
A cold fear seeps into you.
What are you telling me?
You seem to be spooked. Please don't be.
Her voice becomes homely, calm. She lets a moment pass. The pale. And what do you mean, corona?
They say there is a rarefied envelope of matter surrounding the darkened disk of our planet. That is, if we are still living on a planet. Or, to speak more plainly, imagine vast swathes of land disrupted by nothingness. I am sorry, dear. It must sound quite terrifying through the acute encephalopathy. Even scientific positivism isn't entirely convinced about what we're dealing with here. But this is one of the greatest questions of our time. Maybe when they get the complete set together, it will jolt us out of our rut, bring us together, however naive it may sound.
I don't want to poo-poo on her party. A fractured corona doesn't feel like it's going to bring anyone together. Okay, and then everything will be okay, right? Hold me, Joyce.
I don't know about things of that scale. My expertise lies in nations and trade routes, one or several layers below everything. But yes, we'll be fine. Don't worry.
Clearly you're not in contact with my liver, but thank you for the vote of
She does
confidence.
not seem convinced that you'll be fine. If anything, she's realizing how deep your condition runs.
Joyce has seen to the very heart of me. Thanks. Okay.
You may have misimagined it. I don't have the power to convey to you the effect and geometry of the images that depict our world from below low orbit. It's
Startling?
like the crowning of the world. It's insane. Very disco. You'd love it.
Well, if you say it's disco, ... It doesn't sound like any kind of disco I'd like to go to. I don't care about disco. You hold your vile tongue. Well, if you say it's disco...
See? Everyone finds something worth holding on to in this world, however wasted its opportunities.
Suddenly, you're conscious of yourself standing there, on whatever this all is. Your arms hang down by your sides.
So what is pale?
The pale is not, technically speaking, part of reality. It is the opposite of reality.
Okay, but what is it?
Okay. The pale is the most dominant geological feature of the world, Detective. The separative tissue between the islas. It is the inter-islary mass.
Okay, but what is it like? What does it taste like? Is it lemon flavored?
Achromatic, odorless, featureless. The
It's not
pale is the
lemon
enemy
flavored.
of matter and life. It is not like any other, or anything in the world. It is the transition state of being into nothingness.
Is the pale in the room with us now? What are its physical qualities? If we're surrounded by pale, how do you get from Isola to Isola? How much pale is there compared to the world? She said 70%, right? Or that it's covering 70%. I don't know if that means it exists where world does not. I'm assuming so. Is the pale here with us?
No, Detective. We're safe. It begins there, 6,000 kilometers to the north, and even more to the south, east, and west. You are in the middle of the Isla.
I was getting real scared for a second that the pale was coming to eat my
As your
butt.
gaze instinctively turns north, a small black pit opens up in your stomach.
I'm 6,000 kilometers from the end of the world?
Yes. That is enough. Many cities are built much closer.
Your butt is never safe from consumption. Ah! And, point north. There?
An uproar of matter, darling. Rising into the pale. Rolling. Evaporating even. A great vision. The area of transition between the world and the pale is called porch collapse.
Why is it called porch collapse?
Imagine a grey coronal mist. Cold vapor marked by spores of an opportunistic microorganism. A mold that's adapted to grow at the edge of the unrest. The most disco thing you will ever see.
I love the way she describes it. And what a strange and fascinating world. So we're all of us on islands, isolated by political ideology and race and literal voids between us that keep us more isolated than ever. I know we asked her, how do we get from Isola to Isola? This is what I need to know next, yes. I know we had the option to ask her. How do we get from place to place if there are massive steaming holes in the world.
Oh, it is so difficult for us.
A squall of birds. Hardware operating in the harbor. Firm. Self-evident.
It is possible to force dimensions on the Pale. In modern times, we can even compress its latitude, bouncing radio waves from one end to the other, shortening the path.
So the physical distance between places can be modified using radio waves. I really want to see this. This sounds so fucking disco.
But it is still hard for humans to navigate the Pale without getting lost or having our minds damaged.
Does it possess physical qualities? The question is, what are its physical qualities? But does it even have physical qualities?
It's difficult to describe or even measure. Something whose fundamental property is the suspension of properties. Physical, epistemological, linguistic.
Sorry, just epistemological.
The further into Pale you travel, the steeper the degree of suspension, right down to the mathematical. Numbers stop working. No one has yet passed the number barrier. It may be impossible.
And in its impossibilities, it can damage the mind.
Extensively.
Oof. Is that what happened to me? My lack of memories.
Some say the damage
Curious.
stems from extreme sensory deprivation. Others argue that Pale somehow consists of past information that's degrading, that it's rarefied past, not rarefied matter.
And is the Pale the sweet, succulent void that we were birthed from beneath the horrific necktie on the ceiling fan at the beginning of all things? I am fascinated by this. All right.
They call it the blend over of the self. The Pale does not only suspend the laws of physics, but also the laws of psychology, maybe history even. The human mind becomes over-radiated by past.
Who says and who argues?
Who says and who argues? I imagine that makes more sense than I'm thinking it does right now. Who says this and who argues it?
The logical positivists say, the dialectical materialists argue.
What does this over-radiation feel like? Being slowly strangled by a horrific necktie?
It feels terrible. Absolutely terrible. International standards strictly limit civilian travelers to 6 days of Pale exposure per year.
It's more for her. Way more.
So you're not a civilian passenger, are you? How many days of Pale exposure can you tolerate?
No nameless detective of the Citizens Militia. I am a
Actually, I have a
member
name.
of the Entreprenetic Business Class. I'm cleared and trained for 22 days of Pale transit annually.
Perhaps that explains her strange pining after the revolution. Some degraded early memories.
Are you over-radiated? Is that rude to ask?
Up to my gills, officer.
God, I love her so much. What is entreprenetic?
Entreprenetics is the scientific
Sorry.
study of the Pale, or a recent iteration of it by way of grad. The study of the Pale reaches back 6,000 years. The Pericarnassians called it the Western Plain.
They had not traveled the entire circumference of the Pericarnassian Super E-Solar. It was not merely in the west, it was everywhere, even then, surrounding them.
Did they cross it, the Western Plain?
There are signs of pre-modern crossings. Successful navigation of the Pale relies not just on technical know-how, but intensive psychological preparation. Some of these tactics have been known for thousands of years.
What has entreprenetics changed, then?
Nothing. We remain powerless before the Pale. The only real advance in Pale transit is the speed with which an aerostatic craft can pierce it. Less exposure leads to less effects later.
Tell me more of these aerostatic craft.
Hybrid airships, Detective. Conventional rotors or jet engines no longer add velocity after the point of reference for motion is suspended, once you've crossed from near Pale to far Pale. In essence, we throw them in and they come out the other end. If we throw them precisely.
And if we do not?
Then they don't.
Where do they go? Follow-up question. Where do they...
Gone, like a skipping stone beneath the surface.
Bloop. How much Pale is there compared to the world?
The Pale outweighs reality 2 to 1. There is more Pale than there is matter, and the ratio is slipping.
I'm getting my buns et, aren't I? The Pale will slowly consume us all.
What do you think, Detective?
She looks you in the eye. You feel loved. It's shrinking. There's more and more of the world, right? Right? It's growing. There is more and more of the Pale.
Precisely. One of the few measurable effects of the Pale is that it is expanding at an unknown rate. An intuitive conclusion of that development is that one day the Pale will cover everything. But this sort of talk is mostly left to extremists.
And yeah, it doesn't sound very extreme. It sounds like it's an inevitability. Cover everything? That can't be. Where would we go? We'll all be very pale, I guess. It's going to happen, from what you've explained to me. But maybe I should just stay silent. Like a cute little boy. I'll play coy for Joyce. Love me, Mother. Sorry, I was supposed to be silent. I couldn't help it. It's not extreme at all. It's going to happen.
Most people, and indeed most private and government sector organizations, entire civilizations and religions even, find handy ways to ignore or downplay that knowledge. I suggest you do the same.
Otherwise, how am I to live? How am I to live with this burdensome knowledge?
Off we go. You see the hanged man's mouth open.
Oh my. Off we go into the wild Pale yonder.
One and all. They say Pale is death, but for the universe.
Why should we just leave, and the world get left behind?
Alright, let's return to reality.
Yes, sweet reality. But before we do, tell me, Detective,
Anything, my love.
is this the first time you're hearing this? Do you really not remember anything?
I'm getting a sense of who I am, but no, I did not know this.
Beyond curious. Tell me, what do you think of the Pale?
You were right. It's disco, baby. That's really hard to beat. It will end all life. That we continue to persist at all is a testament to our faith in one another. Lovely sentiment. Its advance can only be stopped with immediate, total, ruthless communism. It's a powerful anti-communist force. Perhaps too powerful. But still, they have it coming. I'm worried, I have to say. It doesn't sound very liberal to me. I don't know how you've all survived with it. It's a huge accomplishment. Who am I to think anything of it? I like this one. The old number 4, that we continue to persist at all is a testament to our faith in one another. Hurrah! Take my hand. Link me by the elbows and give me a smooch. But I gotta say, it's disco, baby. She didn't seem to like that tremendously. Her eyes tense, crow's feet radiate from them. She observes you, your bloodshot eyes and swollen face.
You really didn't know. This does not spell good for the investigation, Detective. If you don't know even this, then...
She stops mid-sentence. I'll handle it. This investigation will be my masterpiece, the one they remember me by, I promise. Yes, I'm in serious trouble here. It'll be a fucking disaster. I know it. All those people will die. I think it's fair to be honest with Joyce that I am in serious trouble here, and we're doing our best to press on regardless.
Your colleague, Lieutenant Kisaragi, is competent. I checked up on him. And you have me. I will try to assist you in any way I can.
Oh my god, I'm honored. Thank you.
Some of that assurance is meant for herself, as much as it's meant for you. She must have a lot on the line here.
She must have.
Even if we have to do it one basic term at a time.
Secret task, talk to Joyce about the pail without Kim. Interesting. I wonder how that would have gone differently with Kim present. What delightful little comments he would have made. I'll have to see if we can talk to him about it later. Okay. On that note, my mind blown wide open, like the shattering of reality between the Asolas. I'd better go get some dinner. Thank you so very much for hanging out with me. Our corpse has been autopsied. We're making some small progress in our police investigation. We have a bullet to try to match to a potential future murder weapon. I love you, Joyce, most
Glad to
importantly.
have been of assistance. The little that I know. Anything else?
You're on a boat. I can't wait to tell her that. I'm sure she'll be shocked. That's all for now. It is 1648 on day 2. And you all have my love. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for the massive hype train bonanza that choo-chooed its way through all of our day. That was incredibly kind of you. I will see you tomorrow, I hope. Barring some sort of gargling accident. I'll see you tomorrow for more. We will continue to spend the rest of our day without Kim by learning things. God, I love it. See you soonish. Have a wonderful